Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Captain Mike M. Welcome to episode 154 of the Gamers in Beta podcast. Corey and Joe will not be with us tonight. We want to send our condolences out to Corey. He lost his grandmother over the last week, so he will not be with us. And Joe is under the weather, so we hope he feels better in the not too distant future. In the meantime, we have Jay. How are we doing, Jay?
I'm not doing too bad. A little pissed off that I'm going to have to replace all my Xboxes.
Yes, we'll get to that in just a minute. But when Corey and Joe cannot make it, we bring out the big guns. So let's welcome in Jeremy from DadsGettingGrounded, Matt from the 40cast, and Nick, LuckyStiff, from Twitch. What's going on, fellas?
Hello.
Hello.
Which one of us is the big gun?
I am the big gun.
Okay.
I don't know. You guys don't post those kind of pictures on Twitter, so I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm going to have Mike inspect my nips before he makes
There's not enough.
Yes.
There's not enough characters on Twitter for me.
I am the official nip inspector. That is correct. So what the fuck's going on, guys? Everybody just watched that Bethesda presser? I know Jay and Jeremy and myself were just watching it, but did you two guys catch that?
I caught the highlights from some streams. I didn't get to watch the actual presser, but I got the highlights from Twitter and from Kotaku. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I watched it in its entirety.
Yeah, we'll dive into that in just a minute. I wanted to discuss the Xbox stuff right off the top because I think that's the most, I think that's the biggest leaks of the day. We don't know if any of this is true. People can doctor screenshots, but Microsoft seemed to acknowledge at least some of it with sort of we don't know, maybe.
And that usually means yes.
Yep. So there's been leaked Xbox One Slim pictures today. The Slim can now be in a vertical position as well as horizontal. I will not confirm or deny if you can only put it in vertical for digital and horizontal for disc. We'll let them reveal that in a day or two. Where's Corey with our soundboard? Motherfucker.
ain't got no time for that.
I'm supposed to laugh at that. So let's see. 2 terabyte hard drive, 4K video capabilities. So what does that mean? You're going to be able to play Netflix 4K off this box?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
Sure, it's not just an
think
HDMI?
I think you have to read that wording very carefully, because the way, the verb 4K video capability, instead of just saying 4K resolution or something, in that terminology, they're making a very purposeful note to say video. So
right, if they're not going to have any 4K games.
Correct.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, the immediate thing is some of their streaming services might show you stuff in 4K.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll have a Blu-ray disc that'll support Ultra, the UD Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Now, it's also supposed to be 40% slimmer than the OG Xbox One. There are some screenshots out there with the PS4 in the horizontal position on top of the Xbox One Slim, and the PS4 is still smaller in size, not only in length but in width. That's what you like, Matt, right?
It's how you use it. It's
Maybe short, but it sure is skinny.
Now, I haven't been able to confirm this anywhere. Just a lot of people have been throwing the price out there that it's going to be $449. We'll wait until tomorrow to get that news. But if that is true, that is higher than I anticipated.
So Mike and Jay, as the two guys on the podcast who own the most Xbox Ones that I'm aware of, do any of these things, like Jay,
work?
You kind of joked. No, you kind of joked at the beginning. Oh, now I have to replace. Are these really the things you were looking for?
If my friend Aaron, who works at a GameStop, says there'll probably be some trade-in thing, $200, like they usually have specials, and that might be what they give you now anyways. I don't even know. I will trade in one of my Xboxes for a Slim, just because I want the horizontal in my office.
Okay.
I want the desk space back to me. That's how much desk space is worth to me. If I can, if I have to spend $200 to free up some room on my desk, then I'm going to do it.
Valid. And
Captain Mike's desk space is
Well, I mean,
is akin to like
I just know
real
that
estate
Jay's I know that Jay's talked about the hard drive before. You can have the USB hard drive, so that kind of doesn't matter. If you don't have a 4K TV, and that's aside from the fact that it might just be video, who cares?
I have one.
You've already got one. You've got the extra 40% space. Where's the incentive?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, they'll have to tell us. Just like I already told you, for me, it's just about, putting the damn thing in a vertical position.
I'm tempted because of the 4K.
Well, you don't have a 4K TV?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I got a 55-inch 4K TV.
Oh, my God. Everybody bow down to Jay.
Fucking now! No, I mean, for the extra space and for the 4K, I could give a shit about the 2 terabyte because exactly, I've got 3.5 terabyte on my console now. So,
yeah.
I would definitely be all over this if it was out at $350 and I could trade in my Xbox One and pay somewhere between $100 and $150. If that's really going to be $449 and they're going to give me $200, somewhere between $150 and $200 for my Xbox One. I might not jump on it day one, maybe day 3.
Yeah.
Wait till the reviews are out.
Yeah, it depends on the price. It does really depend on that price, too. I mean, yeah, if it's $450, fuck that,
My question on it is when you look back to the previous generation, there was a much larger gap between when the original Xbox 360 launched and then the Elite model, and then when they decided to do some cosmetic changes to the unit, make it smaller, make it quieter, things like that. There was a huge span of time, maybe enough time in there where your average consumer would feel like, oh, okay, I've had this Xbox 360 for 3-4 years now. It's worth me upgrading to a newer one. Maybe just because the lifespan of the unit will last longer, once I buy a newer unit. As for this, it's just like without the unit actually doing anything new, obviously, the 4K video thing, maybe it will play, 4K Blu-rays. I don't know if that's enough to get somebody that just bought an Xbox One a year or two ago to want to go trade their unit in just to get a little bit smaller of a device. Like we mentioned, you can plug in an external drive, so there's your upgrade in space.
Right.
So...
Or even just like sales I've seen this week of $350 for the current version with like 5 games and an extra controller.
Exactly.
It's like, why would I pay an extra $100 for that to get a lot less?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Unless they're going to have a bundle out there with a bunch of games.
I mean, they're trying to clear out the old ones now is what it is. I mean, I don't think you're going to see a price drop, that temporary price drop they have now, which they haven't. Did they technically say it was a temporary price drop?
Yeah, it's going to go up. It's only till June 13th.
All right, because then it's going to drop another $100. So, because the new ones will be coming out. But yeah, I mean, it depends on the price for these new ones. It really is a big thing. I mean, me and Mike are not typical as far as that. We generally are with the consoles early adopters. We get them immediately.
Right.
But in this situation, there is the option to wait, and I may wait and see. It depends on what the rumored price is. So,
and I think also with Sony coming out and confirming that the PlayStation Neo is a real thing, even though they're not going to show it at E3. I mean, you're pretty much confirming all the rumors that have come before that. So there's a good chance that unit is actually going to be a more powerful unit than what the current PlayStation 4 is. So there's some incentive to buy that device.
Yeah.
More than likely.
I want to talk about that device real quick, jump into that. Does anybody think it's smart that they're not showing it at E3? If it's not ready to come out, and it's just like, hey, here's the device, it's going to come out sometime in 2017. You think it's best to keep it away from E3 so the focus can just be on stuff that's coming out this year, games and the VR? Because I think if you're sitting at the conference or watching at home, aren't you in the back of your mind the whole time going, where's the damn console? Where's the damn console? And everything else is just flying by and you're not paying attention?
I think they're going to keep it very low-key, actually, because I really think they're going to heed the community when it comes to they do not want to separate and alienate their install base. Uh-oh.
I think...
hey, we have an extra.
I think they're gonna. I think a big part of the reason they're not showing it at E3 is because they are afraid of an Xbox One coming out souped up, and they're going to have something that's just paltry by comparison. So they're actually waiting to see if Phil Spencer and the gang tip their hand at E3.
It gives them a chance to come up to whatever.
That's been the name of their game since this whole generation, is wait to see what Microsoft does and do something a little better if they can.
Yeah, so I think it's smart. You leak it in the beginning of the week saying, yes, this does exist. They dominate the news for a day or two, and then now it's, Phil, your turn. Are you going to go ahead? Do we really think Microsoft's going to allow 18 months to go by before a new console comes out? I have a hard time believing that. I mean, that's what people are saying, that the new Xbox One won't come out to the end of 2017. Seems like a lot of time just to sit there and let PlayStation continue to beat you. But we'll find out tomorrow. Let's get into some of the press conferences that we saw today, things that we know exist so we don't have to deal with rumors. First was the EA press conference, which Nick just threw out the word low-key for Sony, and I think that's the tone for so far. For the first two press conferences, specifically EA, I thought was a very poor showing. Did anybody catch that at all?
Oh, yeah.
It seemed uneventful.
Yeah. Why I don't understand why EA sticks to the exact same formula every single year for their press conference. Show something the crowd wants to see, and then show the new Madden. Show something the crowd's waiting for, and then show the new FIFA. It's like they divide up everything in between there. They show their every year release franchises, and then they show something that the crowd has basically been, drooling, fevering for. Any kind of information, and then the games that people were dying to see, they showed very little, if nothing, about those games.
So go ahead, Matt.
Maybe EA is waiting for the Microsoft press conference or the Sony conference to show off maybe more of the games. They got something planned with Xbox, because Xbox has got to show games and stuff too. So maybe some of that is being held off.
Definitely, I think that is the case, and I think a lot of it, some stuff just isn't ready to be shown. I'd say the positive out of their press conference is Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1. Mm-hmm. I think those are the games in our small little group here that have the most appeal. Mm-hmm. Probably,
I am all in on Battlefield 1. That looks fucking incredible.
I am all in on Battlefield 1 single player, but I am not that great. I am not that great in the multiplayer of that game.
Well, same here, but
it's got Zac Efron's seal of approval, guys. So
right, and who else was there? Jamie Foxx,
Snoop Dogg,
Snoop Dogg, right?
Oh, geez, Snoop Dogg again.
I thought Titanfall 2 looks promising. Yeah. I'm not going to go down the whole, hype train like we did last time. We all bought into that. I think we're all guilty of that to varying degrees. But it's nice to hear that they listened about a single player. Mm-hmm. So that looked decent. And then I didn't think the multiplayer was bad in their first Titanfall. It just didn't keep my attention longer than a month or so.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be a little gun shy on that one.
No. Nick, do you have any thoughts on Titanfall? I know you played the one.
I love the original game. I thought that it was, super underrated. And if you look at the last several high-profile, first-person shooters that have come out, they borrow a lot from that game. And, immediately the very next Call of Duty that came out after Titanfall pretty much stole the movement from that game as far as running on walls, double jumping, things like that. So. I'm excited for it. If they it just need more content. I think that's in the long run what just drove it down. And it's kind of funny to me talking about that game and then looking at a recent release like Overwatch, which Overwatch is an excellent game. It's a good game. It's a lot of gameplay, but it's severely lacking content-wise. So it's kind of funny to me that you have Titanfall that a lot of people kind of bash the original, saying, "Oh, there wasn't enough content in this game," and then you have this game, Overwatch, that just came out that has just as little, if not less, than that game, but is critically loved. So,
but it's got cute little characters, and also Funko's releasing characters from them. So of course it's going to be loved.
Yeah.
Now they're saying that at Respawn, that, of course, they came from the Infinity Ward, that whole breakup. And some of the guys that worked on the story for Call of Duty 4 are working on the single player for Titanfall 2. Does that get anybody more excited? Because I think Call of Duty 4's story is, held in high regard. Am I correct?
Yeah, the original one. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that might get some people interested more in the game. As far as Battlefield 1, to me, it looks cool. It's nice to have a change of pace, go back in time. But I know for me that will be just something I will buy, play single player, play a couple nights of the multiplayer, and see my ass get kicked, and then I'll be out.
Yep.
That just seems like how all the Battlefield games go for me.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's you're on these huge squads, you got to work in teams, not everybody can be around every night, so you're going to be by yourself, people are going to start yelling at you, and then, boom, eject the game. Nick, do you play a lot? I know you do a lot of stuff multiplayer-wise. Do you spend a lot of time in Battlefield?
I did in Battlefield 4 when it came out. The Battlefield games are all very similar, just kind of reskinned. They're fun to play, but you're correct. It's something that's much more enjoyable when you're in a group. Same thing said for Star Wars Battlefront, that type of thing. It's just it's a lot more fun when you're in a squad. They're excellent games. It's a totally different pace than a Call of Duty game. So less forward or more open.
Now the disappointing stuff, we won't talk about the sports because I don't know enough about soccer to tell you if they what they showed you was good or bad. A little disappointing. They talk about managers, and I said this on Twitter, and hopefully you guys will laugh again. Mr. Fucci and Classy Freddie Blassie are not in the game. Those are the best managers of all time, and it's a damn shame that they're not in the game.
It.
No Captain Lou, come on.
He was the bomb, man.
But let's move on to Mass Effect Andromeda. I thought, how many times are they showing this? Is this getting to be like No Man's Sky? They keep talking about the game, and this is, the second E3 now, and they're still not showing us any real gameplay.
This is the third E3.
Third, okay.
Because it goes all the way back. There was an original trailer that I think was a pre-rendered trailer that showed a Mass Effect character sniping from Big Ben in London in the future. And that was their original, I think. I don't know. I can't remember if that was Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect Andromeda. It's been so long. But.
Right, and they didn't really show us any gameplay stuff, and maybe just a little bit in those behind-the-scenes videos, but it was early footage.
Just tells you it's a long, long way off still.
Right. What was the only new news was that it was going to be on Frostbite? Is that new? It seemed like they highlighted that a little bit. It felt like
it's I think all EA games are pretty much going to Frostbite.
Yeah, that may be new info, but it's not a surprise. Everything's on Frostbite now.
There seemed to be a groan across Twitter when they were done showing Mass Effect. People saying, "That's it. That's all you're going to show."
It's pretty bad when you show more story in a FIFA game than you do for a Mass Effect.
That FIFA thing went on forever. Now, Jeremy, I got a new game for you.
Yeah, I'm curious. I saw your tweet earlier today, and I was intrigued, to say the least. Yeah,
so do you guys remember that, what was that zombie Viking game that came out on the PS4? Do you guys remember that? It just came out maybe, 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
A co-op, brawler. And so that studio, I think they're called Zoink Studios out of Sweden.
Zoink.
They're putting out a game called Fey or Fee. The guy pronounced it both ways in the show, so I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's some I don't know, you're some sort of, I don't even know what the character was. You're some little spiky thing in the forest, and there's going to be a lot of conflict, but basically no one has the same playthrough. You go out and you establish your own world and your own experience and things like that. So this is definitely going to be a game for you guys for Metacritic.
Yeah, sounds like hate bait.
Yep.
It reminded me, watching it, it reminded me very much of watching, Journey, I guess, because you're playing a character that lets out all these different musical tones, and you're, communicating with other things in the environment by making these different tones. So, I don't know.
Nice guy. I've talked to that guy before that was on stage. He's been at PAX before. Very nice guy. But I was just not... I was not super into that game, what they were showing, at least in this particular, stage of the game.
Is this the new artsy game?
Yeah.
This is part of EA Originals, so EA is launching this initiative where they support indie games like Unravel, and they're supposedly not keeping any of the profits. It's all going back to the developer.
I was going to say, I think it's a new E3 fad at your press conference to put an indie game developer up on stage and watch them shake and stumble their way through describing their game. Was
the spiky thing like a homosexual?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it was, that's a guaranteed. You're going to have two sides of the fence of how great of a game it is, or how terrible it is, or whatever.
Yeah. Jesus.
I think the spiky thing could go either way. I think it was open to interpretation. Now let's talk about Star Wars real quick here. I just really think they're going to beat this friggin' thing to the ground. Yep. There's so many Star Wars games, and none of them were ready today. So they just showed you kind of like a montage. Jade Raymond was up on stage going over, how great all the studios were and how hard they're working, but really couldn't show us anything. I think what we do know is that there's going to be a Battlefront, coming next year. Mm-hmm. In 2017. In 2018, there'll be a new game from Visceral, which is Amy Hennig, who used to work on Uncharted series.
Yep.
So that will be coming out in 2018.
And she went there forever ago. It's been 3 or 4 years.
She's been there a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So it's kind of bizarre to think that they're still in the very early phases of that.
Yeah. And then Respawn, of course, is working on something, too. And they didn't really show us much of anything. I think maybe the most they showed us was Battlefront 2. I don't even know. They weren't even calling it Battlefront 2, though, were they?
Yeah, they weren't very clear on whether that was going to be a standalone deal or whether that's going to be an expansion.
Right, exactly. But they showed a bunch of studios all coming together to work on it. So, I don't know. I didn't leave... I think last year when we saw Star Wars Battlefront, we sort of all left pumped. That's something I want to play. Let me get my hands on that. I sort of left the EA thing going, wow, they didn't really show us much, and they kind of skirted around what they were trying to show, which to me didn't say they were unprepared. They just weren't prepared to show us any games. They weren't at that stage of the development.
Mark my words, Mike, there's going to be a Hearthstone-style Star Wars card battle game at some point.
That's it, I quit.
Right. And maybe that should segue into the Bethesda press conference, because they showed their Legacy Elder Scrolls card game, and that was one of many things they showed me tonight that almost put me to sleep. I guess
No, come on, that was a stunning cinematic for that trading card game.
It was. I woke up when it actually crapped out, and then I came back on.
Yeah, the static woke you up.
My wife was still watching. She had sat down and come out there, and she was watching with me when that part came on. And my exact words were, only in gaming could we make a card game with a campaign that has cinematics as you're playing through it, I mean, it can't just be a card game. We've got to make a whole story that goes along with this card game, like a journey. So
people are just afraid now. If you don't give them the story, they're going to jump down your throat.
Mm-hmm. So there's too many card games out now. I'm about over them already.
So I was not paying really super attention to the card game. And then I think the first thing they showed us was Quake Champions. This is supposed to be a PC-only arena first-person game. And it's supposed to tout fast gameplay, uncapped frame rate, and what do they say, running at 120 hertz or something like that?
Super esports
without a cap. Without a cap on that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm out.
That's different characters, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's not our kind of game. I think any of us here's game. I mean,
Overwatch.
But I mean, I think that just the Quake name will get some draw for them. But where it's only on PC, I guess the original Quake was PC, right? So maybe they'll get some of the old school PC players, and then.
So I'm assuming it's going to be like Lawbreakers in the sense that it's keyboard and mouse only. Why even make a controller at that particular point? Lawbreakers doesn't have controller support, and I would imagine Cliffy B's got to be shaking in his boots a little, right? Quake's got a bigger name than Lawbreakers. I mean, maybe they do things differently, but another arena combat shooter, I would think he's got to be a little nervous. What else did they show us there? They showed us Fallout 4 DLC. There is some new stuff coming out next week, contraptions that you can make, and there's Build Your Own Vaults coming in July, and then in August, Nuka World. And anybody excited about any of that?
Nah.
No.
Not really.
Was Nuka World seemed to be more story-based, is that correct? Out of everything?
Yeah, that seemed like the only story-based stuff. And I think the contraption thing will get the people who like to build and kind of play the Minecraft within Fallout. But
yeah, same thing with Build Your Own Vault.
Yeah,
have you guys
exactly.
tried the mods on your Xbox yet?
I'm playing my on PS4, so we don't have mods yet.
Okay.
And I'm not doing the mods. I'm not.
We don't even have 30 frames per second yet, Nick. Come on. we got to get up to that before we can get mods.
Well, they mentioned the mods, and I'm really curious to what kind of curation is going to go on there, because I played that on PC, and they had, what was that one DLC where you could get a Deathclaw, or the one where you could trap people or whatever and make them your pets, and it was like, that was a PC mod after the first week. So I wonder what type of restrictions they're going to have on the mods when it does hit console, what they can and can't do, and how much of it could actually skirt their own DLC plans. So,
well, along those lines, they're already having issues where people are taking mods that other people have created and releasing them, which I don't quite understand how that works. I guess you could pretty much release anything, but they're taking other people's mods, claiming them as their own, and releasing them out to the Xbox One, and they're running into issues now, stability and whatnot, because when you do download those on One, it specifically says if this creates any issues, we're not responsible for it.
Yeah.
And also, it disables you being able to get achievements, so that's why I haven't done any of the mods.
It's like that on PC for the most part, too. Most of them.
I wonder if it affects updates, too, like if they try to patch the game or update the game to a higher version, if it, you have to uninstall and reinstall the mods.
Yeah,
just a lot of issues.
That can definitely happen. Yeah.
There's a lot of issues.
I'm not into mods at all, but they say it's been overwhelming how many people on the Xbox One are into the mods and downloading them and using them and creating them, that it just blew their expectations out of the water.
Double what it was on PC, supposedly, from right. reports, but I think it's just because it's a new thing. People are like, oh my god, I can use them on here, and they jump in and stop playing. So,
well, let's get to some of the good stuff here from Bethesda. The Skyrim Special Edition, that's going to come out on the same day as Titanfall, October 28th, and that's going to be on PS4 and Xbox One. I didn't catch if it was going to include all the DLC.
I would imagine so.
It would almost have.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's a good question.
Is anybody excited for that? Can they see themselves playing that?
I'm too busy playing The Witcher 3 to be going back and playing that again.
Oh, God, yes.
Mm-hmm. I had over 200 hours into the original version of Skyrim. I mean, it's awesome prospect, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're not offering anything there that you couldn't already get on your PC. Right. I mean, as far as mods go, there is some crazy stuff for the Skyrim PC version that will make that game look better than what they were showcasing there in their own
Macho Man Dragons.
You have to remember too, though, even without the mods, the PS3 version of that was broken for the longest time. Now you've got a whole new generation of PS4s out there, people who probably didn't get the chance to play it, or at least play it the way it should have been, meaning working. So I think that's a good opportunity for them to get some of those people on there. So. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but like you said, I'm in the PC camp, so not to play the Master Race card here, but it's...
Oh, now you're going to get Joe upset. Oh,
fuck. Maybe he should show up on the show then. No, but I mean, you mentioned it. It's only coming out on Xbox One and PS4, because they already released the high texture pack for PC years ago, so they're not adding anything to the PC version.
Now, where did you guys play this? Jay, you played this on Xbox 360?
I did.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And Nick?
I played it on both 360, where I got most of my time in, and then on PC as well.
And Jeremy, did you play it?
Yeah, PC.
PC. So for Nick and Jay, if they said to you that you could bring your save over, they didn't announce this today. I'm just going into hypothetical. Mm-hmm. If you could bring your save over, would that be any more incentive to pick it up?
Yes, because I never completed a lot of the stuff in there. I completed the story itself, but I didn't complete a lot of like Thieves Guild and all that other stuff, which a lot of people consider it to be part of playing in the story, but you didn't need it to complete the story.
Mm-hmm. And Nick, you have no interest. You're done. Other stuff to play?
No, I don't. I mean, it just depends on what what's out at that time. Obviously, like you
have
said,
Titanfall that
comes
day.
Out that day. October's a busy month, and I've spent a lot of time in that game world. So,
3 weeks later is Battlefield 1, and they just told us tonight the next game we'll talk about, Dishonored 2, comes out on November 11th.
Very excited for this one.
Oh yeah.
Now, people, if you look on your Twitter, people have been clamoring for gameplay all weekend. They're showing us these games like EA's press conference. They're showing us these games, but there's no fucking gameplay, right? Well, Bethesda listened, and they gave you fucking 10 minutes of gameplay, so I hope everybody sat down and enjoyed that motherfucker.
Well, not before they gave you 10 minutes of flybys of the environment.
Oh, I needed smelling salts about halfway through.
I hate it when they do that in games, man. It's like, I know a lot of time goes into creating the geometry, the textures, the lighting, all this to show me these very moody settings they want to create for these games. But Jesus, I mean, show some people walking around or something. Just don't show me an empty street and, panning by it really slow,
So what you're saying is you never wondered right before you snuck up behind a guy and knifed him in the throat where he takes his lunches or where that watermark from that flood happened 50 years ago?
Or what
You've never thought of that?
Made his pants.
Or if that bakery was like a tailor 10 years ago, right?
Right. I mean, that's all I think about when I'm playing games.
You gotta have some backstory, right?
Matt, you're looking forward to this one, right?
I am. I really enjoyed playing Dishonored. It was a sleeper hit for me. I got it for like $15 on Black Friday the year it came out, something like that. And I really enjoyed playing that game. I absolutely.
Now, did you play stealth or all-out killing?
I did all-out stealth.
All-out stealth. So that means no killing at all.
No killing. Nope.
Now, in this game, clearly they've been listening to Jay and others that killing should be allowed, and there was a lot of killing in the gameplay. Did that shock you, or were you expecting that? Or?
Well, I mean, you could kill in the first one, but it just punished you as the game went on. That's all.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like this was going to be the case here, though.
No, it's how they go.
They were highlighting
it. You could stab a mofo in the neck.
Yeah, I'll probably.
Yeah, let's throw a guy off a building where more people are down below than up above. That's real stealth.
I'll probably do stealthy again because I think it's more of a challenge.
I think also for a stage demo, it's kind of boring to go all stealth, right? You want to show some action.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Stealth games don't show that great.
And I've already pre-ordered the special edition of this, so.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're out of your fucking My Lord, someone take this man's money away.
It was $75. What the hell?
Now, someone needs to ask, can we get someone dial in Zientane and ask him if the special edition is worth, what's 75 Canadian?
Like 378.
It's fine. There was more than 100 people that worked on
it.
Like
a mortgage payment.
And then the other thing they showed was Prey, and they're not calling it Prey 2, so is this just a reboot of the original Prey, or just a brand new Prey?
Brand new.
Nick, do you know anything on this?
I think it's a reboot. I think they're keeping the Prey name, but they're just starting over. It's very hard to tell if they're still going to keep the protagonist is Native American. From the screenshots, it could have been. I don't know. What was the guy's last name in the?
I don't remember. I was a little disappointed.
But for a second there, it was really crazy because I was watching that trailer, and for a second I thought, "Oh shit, is this a new System Shock game?" That was the first thing that popped in my head, and then I thought,
valid.
Oh man, I thought, wow, this is like borrowing something from like Dead Space. Like it kind of gave me a Dead Space vibe too, and then it was kind of shocking to see. Oh, it's Prey, So yeah, I think it's just a reboot. They're just they own the name, so why not use it, right?
Yeah.
Jay thought it was a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah. I thought it was one of them ones that you could kind of see back and Solve
See
shit.
that?
I don't know what the hell it was.
Halfway through the game, you play beach volleyball.
Yeah, so, and then you go fly a plane and shit. I don't know. No, I liked Prey, but I was a little disappointed there was no sphincter doors or anything like that. So
sphincter doors.
Remember the original Prey?
Is that a euphemism or? No?
Oh, they had sphincter doors.
On all sphincters doors.
Exits.
For Matt, it's
One-way
exit only.
doors, yeah.
It's not dabble down there at all.
Revolving.
Matt, do you want to go into that at all, or should we just move on?
We seem to have this conversation on the 40cast already.
All right. So before we move on to stuff, does anybody maybe go around real quick what the thing they're most enjoyed today from all the press events? For me, I'd have to say Titanfall 2. Anybody else want to go next, Jay? Well, you just bought it, so it must be Dishonored 2, right?
Well, yes, but no. Battlefield 1 has, ever since they announced it, and then after what the video that they showed today that came out, that's probably got me the most to wanting to go back into it. And I hope that they have controller support on PC.
All right.
Full controller support.
Matt, how about you?
I would say Battlefield 1 or Dishonored 2. A tie right there.
All right. Nick?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Mike. I'd say probably Titanfall, the fact that it's going to have a campaign and it's coming to all the consoles, all the platforms.
Yeah, day one PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So, of course, last time it was just Xbox One, and then eventually PC, right? Or was Xbox One and PC same day?
No, it was Xbox One exclusive, timed exclusive.
And then a PC eventually.
Yep. So I had a lot of buddies that I probably would have played the first one with, but they chosen not to do the Xbox this time around. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I totally missed that it's coming to PS4. And Jeremy, how about yourself?
Oh, that ESO card game, dog! I can't wait.
Oh, yes.
No, actually, the most interesting thing, or the thing that I'm most intrigued about, and you didn't mention it yet, was that little snippet of Fallout in VR.
Oh, yeah.
And not necessarily for Fallout specifically, because they did mention specifically the Vive, which I was a little disappointed in. But just the fact that as a big game company, they're working on taking one of their existing titles, because when we were watching, I said, I would really like to see Skyrim in VR, and that would probably be a close second, I guess. So just to kind of
also mentioned Doom was going to be on too, right?
Yeah. So just to kind of see where they go with those, and whether or not they just make some new experience for those games, or if they actually can somehow tack it on there and make it work well. I'm interested. And then, of course, make it more available than just the Vive.
This opens the floodgates, though, for every developer now. They're just going to port all their old shit over to VR.
And like I said, I'm not really excited about it. I'm more intrigued to see how that's going to work and where it's going to go from here. But
so let me just real quickly give the brothers and sisters of Gamers in Beta a quick lesson from creepy Uncle Mike. The quickest way to ensure that you will not get a package delivered to your house is by, first of all, not fucking ordering the damn thing. But if you are weak and you don't have any convictions and you see shiny things and you must purchase them and have them, the second quickest way is to cancel the item, and therefore it doesn't show up at your house. So, brothers and sisters out there, I have a weak backbone. I cannot help myself. And so on Wednesday, Oculus Rift will be showing up at my door.
Oh, snap.
I'll be upset.
And I will not have a system to play it on. So.
It's going to look great sitting next to your Funko characters.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that new plastic. Smells like new plastic.
Yeah. So don't be like Uncle Mike. Don't buy shit that you can't use.
I'll send something over to you that might help you.
All right, let's move on to the community segment of the show. Jay and I will read these because ultimately you guys will end up reading your own, and no one wants to hear that. So Jay and I will tackle these.
Actually, but then we wouldn't have to do the voice.
Jeremy,
I'll read Matt's.
All All right, so the question was, what are you most anticipating from E3 week? And let's see, Colin at PDX_Geek says, hoping for a new Devil May Cry. My buddy Tom, Hooster30, says, I would love to see Red Dead 2, like all of us. Also, a big game announced and released a few months later, a la Fallout 4 from last year. Magma Flow from Dad's Getting Grounded, a reason for me to turn on my Xbox One.
Ouch. Oh,
I would agree with that as well.
With the Elite controller?
Yes.
Sorry.
Jeremy, how should I read this one? From Ruiner2.
Surprise me. That guy's an asshole.
Uninspired sequels, overhyped exclusives, unnecessary remakes, and fanboy butthurt for months.
Months.
Valid.
Harsh.
Maximum Prime, PS4K, and Xbox 1.5. Yes, I'm the only person on the internet that wants them to be real. Well, I would want them to be real as well.
Ditto.
Looks like he kind of already got his wish, huh?
Yeah, well, 4K has been confirmed, but will not be there. And lastly, for me, Awakened Heathen, our buddy Chase, more Mass Effect news, new Destiny stuff. Didn't that already come out?
That's already
Been already leaked with the other 100 things that leaked this week.
But we will get more info, so he's got
and new exciting IPs. Well, fucking EA gave you fee today, so there you go.
Fee?
All your wishes have been granted.
Just think, though, they got all kinds of, later on they can release Fi and Foe and Fum.
Well, yeah, but the name of the game just describes like feh.
Exactly.
Meh. Feh. All right, we have Brian Young, Juggler of Geese. Just seeing what will be out this year, not really looking for a new console, so just the games for the 1 and for the 4. Jay, a.k.a. Meef J, at Meef J. Mass Effect, Forza Horizon 3, and Xbox 1.5. Or maybe an new Xbox One S, as we've seen with some of the possible leaks here. Shown Off 71, a whole bunch of games, but mostly looking forward to find out if I'll be a PC gamer after over 30 years of being console only. He sounds bitter.
Oh, careful how you read this next one.
Nick, Games on the Mind. Either a new Splinter Cell, the next proper Elder Scrolls game, or Final Fantasy V with 7 of remastered release date. Did I do that right?
I wouldn't take that name.
It's all right. I'm a little lenient on. I mean, when the nighttime comes up, doesn't Jay's mind get a little crazy, right?
Oh yeah. I've been up since 6 this morning, so yeah, it's been a long day. Dr. Detroit, a Detroit slasher. He wants For Honor game for me, and I hope something unexpected grabs me and says, "Hello, sexy. You want to play me?"
Is he there, or?
Holy headshot. A good barbecue on Monday for my son's class. Gonna miss the Monday streams. Valid? And Rob Goddard, the Super Lobster. Batman Telltale game, maybe Wolfenstein 2 info reveal, maybe God of War info reveal, Visceral Star Wars game info reveal. And based off that, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping for another Wolfenstein. I absolutely loved those.
So Rob already got his Batman stuff today. And got his screenshots that came out. There was 4 of them, and I think IGN had a sit down with Telltale and released a whole bunch of that stuff today. So, but he's not getting his Wolfenstein. God of War will remain to be seen, maybe tomorrow night. And Visceral Star Wars, we already talked about that. Yeah. Just it's still in development. So, Jay, what's our question for next week?
To stay in the E3 genre here, now that we've know what you're anticipating, we now want to know, what is your favorite reveal from E3 this year, or thing that you've seen? So, maybe it was the, collector's edition that you liked. Who knows? Let us know.
Mike, nips are not
a valid answer. Say that guy's nipple.
Yeah, I was going to say my favorite thing is when Dishonored 2 demo ended. Praise the Lord. Not that I thought it was a bad game. I thought it had some interesting highlights, but the thing just never ended. It was just going on and on. Let's see. The next segment here is what we've been playing. We should let our guests go first and see what they're up to. Matt, I know you had a busy weekend with family and birthdays. Is there anything you've been playing since we last talked on the 40cast?
Yeah, I managed to get in some quick MLB shows, games. Doing my Road to the Show character, both my pitcher and my first baseman, so I got to do a couple of games with that. And I also played a little bit more of Uncharted 4. Moved ahead. I'm on chapter 14 now in that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Jeremy and I could talk about Uncharted 4 in a little bit, and we'll try not to get the spoilers. Nick, have you finished Uncharted 4 as well?
Yes, I have.
All right, we can talk about that. Anything else, Matt?
That's pretty much it. That right there. Like you said, I've been kind of busy this past weekend doing real life stuff, unfortunately. So,
boo.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
Yeah, what a drama.
It is. Family stuff.
Family. Oh.
Speaking of family, Jeremy, Dad's Getting Grounded. Hello.
Yeah.
Have you been playing anything?
Just Uncharted 4. That's really the only thing of worth mentioning that I wrapped up, and that was a ride. That was a ride.
Good stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think especially when you get to a certain place and then another place, you're just like.
And then a thing happens, and then that guy says that thing, and it was great.
I mean, I just think once you get to the meat of the story and really get into the pirate lore, it's like, holy shit. Yeah. I've said it before, I want more. I want a game that just maybe shows that story or something similar. You know, I thought that was really, really cool stuff.
I think I'm just now getting into the whole big pirate thing, starting to really ramp up with it. And it is, it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple holy shit moments, Matt, later in the game. That it really gets cool.
Sweet.
You've already done those puzzles that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you were already introduced to the pirates there.
Yes.
So there's just more of that stuff. And it just, to me, I thought it was unbelievable. Now, Nick, did you have the same feeling? What was your thoughts?
Oh, I've always, I mean, the story in those games has always been excellent. What I was really happy with, without spoiling too much for this game, is I was happy that they built a story this time without a supernatural element to it. I was just kind of happy to see them craft this narrative that didn't have this all of a sudden this, not
hocus pocus.
Yeah, hocus pocus, totally unrealistic element to it. I mean, it it stayed very grounded through the whole thing, so.
Yeah, now we won't mention them by name here, Nick, but when you got to that, I think there's really 2 or 3 scenes of the game where you're like, holy shit. Did you have those type of moments? I can't really go into them, but they're certainly when you get to these 2 locations, were you blown away by that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's several, not to try to guess, but I mean, there's several scenes in that game. There's some low-key scenes that really, some character-driven scenes that really impressed me with the way they were acted early on in the game. The scene between Drake and Elena on the couch when they're sitting there.
I mean, I was disappointed those 2 didn't hump at all during the game.
But there's some very good scenes like that. And once you start getting the meat, I imagine you're probably referencing maybe the
careful.
The banquet table.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. That and a couple of things before that.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just give me stuff like that, and I would play the shit out of that game.
If you want humping, go back to Witcher.
Yeah, right.
We're going to get to that in a minute. So, Jeremy, just Uncharted 4, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I played a little more of the multiplayer, and you played, we played that together, and you kind of mentioned that, so just kind of getting more into that and stuff like that. But
okay, cool. And Nick, what about yourself? You're always busy every night on Twitch. What have you been playing for the folks? I saw some Halo, is that right?
Yeah, I've been playing Halo 5. I never ever played past like the 3rd or 4th mission of the campaign. I don't know if it was the other stuff came out or what, but I mean, I played a couple times with you guys. I played a bunch of multiplayer, and then I never went back to the campaign. So I don't know. I think maybe I at this point I'm just kind of burnt out on Halo. It's like, okay, I've been here, I've done this, but I've been forcing my way through it, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's not a bad game. It's it's just more Halo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and I think I'm on like the 10th or 11th mission now in that game.
Well, if you want help and you see us on, give a holler. I definitely would jump in. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I haven't played that since Extra Life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I need to finish it. I just want to, I like to finish my games, because I'm investing, it's an investment to me, so I want to get the most out of it that I can. And if it's got a single-player campaign, I like to finish it. So
you're supposed to finish games?
Yes.
Now, did you finish Doom?
Yes, I did finish Doom. I loved every frigging second of that game.
It blew me away, because, the multiplayer to me was just too fast. It didn't really feel polished. And this week we learned that id is actually taking the multiplayer away from the company who was responsible for developing it, and they're bringing it in-house now to fix some of the problems. But I thought id did a fantastic job with the single player.
Yeah, awesome game.
Oh, yeah.
No. Anything else, Nick?
No, I played the first couple hours of Saints Row because it was Games for Gold for free. Saints Row, I think it's Saints Row 4, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd never touched that game before, so I played the open. I've got to say the opening is amazing. The first 40 minutes of that game are fucking awesome.
Yeah. Is that the one with the big purple bat?
That was
I'm sure the
Bilbo
bat shows up at some point in the game. But this is the one where you start off as President of the United States.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just great. I mean, that stuff is awesome. But then after that, it kind of just falls back into the old tropes of an open world. Let's give you superpowers so you can fly through the air and run up buildings and stuff like that. I don't know.
Sweet.
Kind of reminded me of a Prototype, if you guys remember Prototype. That's what I feel like when I'm playing that game. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jay, you've been playing some games, it looks like here.
Yes, I have. Witcher 3, Blood and Wine. I've been playing the hell out of that. And the difficulty on that is ramped up, and the amount of gold you spend is pretty ridiculous how quickly you can go through gold in this add-on.
What are you spending your money on?
It's the new gear, and then, spoiler, cover your ears for 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it, but upgrading your house. Believe it or not, there's upgrades on the house, and they're pretty expensive. I mean, you could spend 5,000 gold at a time on it. So.
Now, do you need to upgrade your house, or is it just purely cosmetic?
You don't need to, but to complete the quest, you have to. Okay. So I'm trying to complete the quest, and I've run out of money doing that and trying to upgrade my gear to, Mastercrafted? Or no, something like that.
All right, so for me, I thought with Blood and Wine, the biggest adjustment I'm having is bouncing from Uncharted 4's third-person view to The Witcher. Naughty Dog really nailed it in their game, and it just seems to be a little looser in The Witcher for me, and I'm trying to get used to that. So that, coupled with the fact of relearning how to play the game again, threw me for a loop a little bit. But I will agree that it does seem a little bit difficult might be the right word. It just seems like maybe these characters or enemies are a little bit closer to your level, where we were probably towards the end of Witcher 3, with the exception of the Wild Hunt guys. We were probably, 10 levels higher than everybody else, so we could blast through them very easily.
And it's
but over.
Sorry, it was that stuff. It's Grandmaster. So
the armor.
The armor, that's Grandmaster.
I haven't finished that one yet.
Yeah, man, that gets expensive.
Mm-hmm. But to me, I played it. I think the quests are, very similar to other games. Go here, do this, go down caves, kill these types of insects or monsters. And I want to give a shout out to Jeremy here. He sent me his old card, the 660 Ti, right, Jeremy?
Yes.
And so I've been actually replaying this on PC with grand success. So for anybody who's been following along at home, my 780 Ti was causing me problems. My game would crash out, after 15 minutes or so, or even shorter than that. But no such issues with Jeremy's card. So he has given me the magic card, and I thank him for that.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So now my PC plans that we talked about, Matt, on the 40cast this week are up in the air. I was ready to throw down some serious coin on a new PC.
Your finger was hovering over that. Buy it now.
$4,500.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And so now I might just get a new card. So we'll see.
1080.
Hopefully. Yep.
Yeah,
Hopefully
that's the way to go, man.
And so what else you been playing, Jay?
A game that you've been playing, and you can probably speak on it more than I can, is Hard Reset Redux, which I am playing on PC, so I don't know how it runs on a console. This is an older game that they've kind of basically up-resed and kind of changed the gameplay a little bit.
Yeah, they've made it very easier this time. It was a very unforgiving game before, very punishing. And, Jay, when you play your game on PC, do you put the counter up in the right-hand corner or left-hand corner showing you how many frames per second?
I have not, no.
So with the old card the other day, it was running at like 297 frames per second on my thing. But it still didn't look that great. It's still a little, I don't know, screen tears or...
That's kind of that's more in that game's more in the vein of like Shadow Warrior and like Doom, right? It's just real fast.
Well, it's made by the same people.
Shooting, right?
Yeah, it's made by the same
Flying
people.
Wild Hogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just like this human, this like lone soldier left in a world of robots, and you get all these various different weapons and power-ups. It's a mindless game that you can blast through. If you like, first-person shooters, with the quasi-story, you might enjoy it.
No, it's Mike's, generic shooter, and it is a ball to play. It's relatively easy to play. It's fun. Just shoot the stuff that's coming at you. Pick up the stuff that gets dropped. You don't even have to worry about reloading. There's no reloading the guns. And it's pretty easy to switch between. I only have 2 right now because I'm not that far into it. I've only played for like maybe an hour. I played an hour or so the other day and then didn't save. So when I went back in today, I played another hour and got a little bit further, but I'm not too far in, so I've only got 2 guns. But it is a lot of fun to play. I'm enjoying it, and man, is it gorgeous on PC.
Yep. What else, Jay?
And then I installed the Nathan Drake collection on my PS4, so that's just an update where I'm at on that. I haven't even played it yet, but that's where I'm going to get on that. I finally cleared out some space on the PS4. And the other thing that I've been playing is the Xbox latest update, which I can say is very much like the first one was when we first got into it for the new Xbox One update. It works so well that it bricks your console. So you've got to get up, walk over, hard reset, turn it back on. And in this one, I don't know how they didn't catch this one, but when you go back to the home screen from a game or from Netflix or whatnot, it just locks up and then goes to a black screen and you have to hard reset.
Every time?
Not every time, but quite often, especially like if my wife is using Netflix and then I switch profiles, trying to go into Netflix, it just locks the console right up. So.
Oh, you're confusing it now. Now you're trying to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Switch.
God forbid I try to watch TV on the Xbox, but I mean, it's something.
It's better.
It's expected. It's kind of expected because it is basically it's a beta. We're in this, and so it's screwed up. So I recommend if you don't want your console to act like it's absolutely broken, don't join the beta. But there are a lot of nice things. I really like the game layouts that they have now. You can actually go in and it fills the screen with the games instead of just the tiles all lined up in a row and you got to kind of scroll through them. Now it fills the screen. You can sort them by, you could sort them before, but the way it sorts them now, you can do alphabetical and it has, A, B, C. You go through and they're all separated each, and it's a lot easier to go through and find games now in apps and whatnot. And they now have your games and apps are now in the top right-hand corner instead of going into your game console and then having to scroll down to get to your games because they're down below where you don't even see them. So they're making some strides forward that are much better. And also, when you install a game now, it actually pops up a window that says, do you want to update now or just install from disk immediately? So you can now not have to go offline to install your discs. And I actually installed Rock Band 4 in about, I don't know, 15
You're
minutes.
the guy that bought that game.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah, I got to kill a deal on it.
Mad Cats was wondering who bought that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were. But yeah, it only took me, 10, 15 minutes to install, and then I did the update, and the update was like 5.4 gigs. So,
cool. So you're getting that Xbox One tramp stamp recolored in over the weekend?
Yeah.
Back in good graces with you?
Yeah, I'm going to get it all colored in, but I'm a little pissed because I might have to put an Xbox One 4K or an S or something after it. So, or Slim. Yeah, I don't know.
Charged by the letter now.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this like the third iteration of the menus that they've had on that unit?
No,
like the third time they've redone the way things are like laid out.
They've made the initial one that came with it, and then they redid it. So they're on 2, but they're probably on a couple different versions of 2 right now.
This really isn't different. It seems snappier a little bit. And there's that, like you mentioned, they basically moved the thing that people want.
It's more robust.
Yeah, they moved the thing that people actually want it for from the very bottom to the top.
Yeah.
But
and easier to navigate, it seems.
Well, and one thing that I thought was interesting is this is basically the one that kills the Kinect, because this is the one that introduces Cortana, and the feature that some people might have missed is they finally will allow you to do voice commands with a headset. You don't need a Kinect to do voice commands, which I'm thinking, hey, that launched on the PS4, but that's cool. You're just getting to that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the one that basically I think they finally given up on Kinect and just said, well, okay.
The week they release Kinect Kung Fu, they give up on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was brutal.
And Cortana does not work very well right now. She is definitely in beta. So.
Yeah, well, and I was playing a game yesterday, and just right in the middle of it, it said game clip captured, and I'm like, I didn't have a headset connected, and I don't own a Kinect, so I'm not sure how it decided to do that. Like Jay said, it's a beta, so
it's a beta.
There's that.
Well, it finds like highlights. Well, Peggle used to do that all the time, and Madden does that.
I hated that.
It records it, knows when you do something monumental in the game, and it records it.
Yeah. So, that's about what I've been done. I'm still exploring some of the new stuff that they put in. I have to go to the dashboard for the update and kind of see what else they have in there. But, that's kind of a breakdown of what I've been playing.
Cool. Matt, how you holding up, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm just listening to all you guys talk about your Xbox.
Well, I know you got to get your rest, so hopefully you can hang in here for this next segment, and then if you need to bail, you can. I want to... If you guys have been listening, which I hope you have, we have this new thing called Dilligaff. Does it look like I give a fuck?
Yeah.
So I have a topic this week that I want to go over, and you can give me your thoughts. And it is centered around Telltale Games. And today they released the first screenshots for the Batman Telltale Games series. And then they also released, I believe, the new trailer for Season 3 of The Walking Dead. Now, I guess what I want to know is, they released too much. Is this oversaturation, or are you guys really enjoying this formula? For me, I think my fuck level is getting pretty low by the day. I mean, Batman is always nice, so the fuck level always goes up higher when there's Batman, especially if he's got hard nips, right, Nick?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Val Kilmer nipples.
Yeah.
He's got the Val Kilmer nips. We're all for it.
Yeah, not the Michael Keaton.
Not the Michael Keaton ones, no.
Very, very down on those. So I'll go first. I'd say The Walking Dead Season 2 for me was not that great. I didn't finish it. Didn't grab my attention. So for me, I'm going to have to give this somewhere between, I'd say 5 fucks. Jay, you want to go next with these Telltale Games? Where's your fuck?
Yes, I would, but I need a clarification because I was out today. I was out ramming the bars with my family, so...
You're out ramming who?
Ramming the what?
Yeah, we were running around and hitting all the bars in the Old Port because it's the Old Port Festival in Portland, Maine today.
That's been to Old Port. He knows exactly.
I've been there.
So,
That's Friday night running today.
So, I have to ask because I haven't had an opportunity to watch this yet or catch the news about it. But are they on a new engine yet? New game engine like for this.
I did think The Walking Dead looked better. It didn't seem that character to me. That first zombie that comes up, his spine and his back is very pronounced. That did look better. Didn't look so comic bookish.
Maybe,
but I have no way to tell you if there's
and maybe they were playing on PC. Because if they don't have a new engine yet, I don't give a fuck. If they have a new engine, I'm gonna go 4.75 fucks.
Okay. Matt, how about your fuck level?
They're pretty low. I never finished the first Walking Dead one that they did. So, and I could...
Oh, that was so good.
I could kind of care less about this, so... Yeah, I give 0 fucks.
All right. Why didn't you finish it?
I got tired of going around talking to everybody and having to... I mean, I know that's what the game was. There's a lot of story and a lot of talking. But it just got old, having to go through and all the discussion. It's like Mass Effect all over again. All
right. Jeremy, how many fucks do you give about this?
Oh, man. I'd say more than you, but not like a ton. I'm not going to pre-order, and just like with all the other Telltale games, I'll wait until they're all out and on sale rather than doing the whole full price, one episode at a time thing. But, I mean, I'm totally fine with a Batman Telltale game. I've enjoyed most of them. And Walking Dead, I'd want to know, like, is this a continuation of the same Clementine story? Is this someone else?
It is Clementine.
Is it? Okay.
The video that they showed today was Clementine walking down the street with some
much older Clementine, like
yeah, it was like she was
teenager now.
Yeah, maybe late teenager, somewhere around there.
She growed it up.
And with an older, maybe a guy in his young 20s, a neck tattoo, and she had no problem killing zombies.
Yeah, the first one I really enjoyed. The first one, Walking Dead one, that is. The second one had its merits. It wasn't as good, but I enjoyed it. And then even Tales from the Borderlands was probably one of my favorites of those types of games that I've played as far as the entertainment and humor level. So, yeah, I'll bring it on.
Cool. Yeah, what's that one I always forget the name of? That was the best one, the Fables.
Fables.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, that was great. I'm disappointed they haven't come out with another one.
Now, I should let you know that Troy Baker is, whatchamacallit, Batman.
Bruce Wayne. No,
Bruce Wayne.
They said Bruce Wayne. I don't know if they ever said Batman, if they're getting somebody different to voice when he's in the Batman outfit.
Yep. So, Nick, you're up here with the fuck level.
Oh, man. The Batman one, I mean, it is Batman, but I really don't know how well the character and the idea of Batman is going to transition to, the Telltale style of gameplay. I mean, Batman's, he's an action hero, and if there's one thing that the Telltale games don't do very well, I mean, I don't know how intrigued I'm going to be to swipe right to dodge, hit up to throw my batarang. So I'm sure the storyline will be pretty good because they're really good at their character interaction and how they do their narrative and everything. But I don't know. I think if I get the feeling you feel like it's getting oversaturated, these types of games, right? So I think, I think it's getting to the point where it's like, oh, well, here's another Telltale game, right? So
how many fucks?
Oh, God, I'd probably say, I mean, if I had to break it up, I would say probably like 6 or 7 for the Batman game, and that's just because it's Batman, and I'd be interested to see what they do. If they don't get Kevin Conroy to do the voice of Batman, then that's going to drop down to like 2 or 3.
And then if they had the Batmobile, and then
they did, they showed a screenshot of the Batmobile.
Oh, then it goes to 0 fucks. I've got to ask now. Something you didn't mention for the Batman for Telltale is Batman is also the world's greatest detective. So if they focus on the detective side of Batman, I think they could pull that off. Does that change the amount of fucks you give?
So they put him in an environment without all the gadgets and tools and all that stuff. And
if they don't make me enter a room and click a button which turns the room to an X-ray, then I'll be happy. Because I'm so fucking sick of games where I click a button and everything becomes an X-ray, from the original, Arkham Asylum. I mean, it was great when that came out, but, as for The Walking Dead, I don't know. The Walking Dead's such a mixed bag. Like, everyone loved The Walking Dead Season 1 when it was a fresh, original thing, and it was like, whoa, this is really intense, and, it was just so brand new, right? And then they've done it to death, right, with all these different series. And I'll agree with Jeremy as far as, like, the Borderlands, but that is just a testament to writing. Like, if you can get the writing and the humor just right, then you could have sat there and watched that and not even picked up a controller because it was so entertaining just to watch, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. At this point, it's like I played the Michonne 3-part Michonne episode, and that was really up and down. Like, there were some parts of it that were like, whoa, this is great, and then there was other parts where I was like, oh, God, not this again, right? So, I don't know. For that, I'd probably say like a 3. 3 fucks are given for the new season of Walking Dead.
Would anybody's change their fucks if this wasn't episodic, if they just gave you the whole thing all at once?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
With a new engine, yes.
Maybe. Yeah. So it doesn't really seem like it's that big of a deal. I personally like the episodic because sometimes I don't have time to sit down and play the whole thing at once. The hour and a half, 2 hour slice of the game is enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for participating in the Dilligaff this week, gentlemen. Next week, when the other fellows come back, maybe we'll have some different segments, but we're going to wrap this up with just, looks like maybe 4 news stories. So if people can hang on, go ahead, but if you need to leave, that is okay as well. Quickly here, Rocket League is getting an update on June 20th, which is just a week away, and this is going to be a free update. And I was listening to the PS I Love You podcast today, and they said this game has officially made $110 million.
Wow.
If you can believe that. So this new update is called Neo Tokyo, and it's going to have an arena with the same name. And they will also introduce Season 3 competitive playlists, an expanded drop system with more rare and very rare items, new quick chat customization options, post-game celebrations, and more. And again, that is free on June 20th. I really don't think I have played Rocket League since there was talk of that second tournament, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And that never came to fruition. Or do we have the first round and we lost? Right? Is that what happened?
We had several teams that dropped out, like, after the second game was played in the first round, so yeah.
Yeah, I think we got knocked out in the first round this time. But, yeah, this is something that's dropped off my radar, but I certainly see Meef and others playing it. And I believe it's free right now this weekend on Xbox.
Yes, it is.
Yep. So that's good for them. This game wasn't on anybody's really radar. Rocket League, kind of a generic name, but $110 million. So we'll see what other games they come up with with that money.
Can't wait for the card game.
Any day now.
Jesus.
Maybe Telltale
Shoot
will
me
make
now.
a story-driven.
Oh yeah, Telltale Rocket League. Yeah, that'd be great.
Destiny: The Rise of Iron was announced. It's coming this fall, September 20th.
There you go, Chase Langdon. There you go.
And if you pre-order, you're going to get a Galahorn. Isn't that the weapon that everybody was trying to get? And now they're going to give it to you if you pre-order?
Yeah, this is
actually, supposedly, everyone is going to be able to get a Galahorn. It's if you pre-order, you get a reskinned, like a special, version of it, like it's different colors, like a different color layout.
Mm-hmm. So is it a safe Galahorn? Comes with a condom or something?
And I want to say that they nerfed that a long time ago anyway,
so
that it wasn't as useful as it used to be too. So
it was a Season 1 weapon, and they didn't upgrade it to the stats for when the update came out. So they it kind of became useless.
So this update here is going to allow you to follow in the footsteps of Lord Saladin in a brand new story that culminates in an epic raid, giving you a new zone to explore, packed with new enemies to fight and new mysteries to solve. And as we mentioned, they're bringing back the Gjallarhorn. Now, the big thing with this update is it is not going to carry forward. It's not going to be available on the PS3 or Xbox 360. And some people are quite upset about that. I personally think you have gotten so much use out of those systems, and we're over 10 years now, and you've already had how many expansions for Destiny? 2, right?
Yeah.
The Taken King and House of Wolves?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That I think you have very little reason to gripe. And they're going to also allow you a one-time opportunity to move your save over from the 360 to the Xbox One and from the PS3 to the PS4. You can't cross. You can't go PS3 to Xbox One and 360 to PS4, but you can stay in the same ecosystem. So I don't really have much sympathy for those people complaining about that. And they're not going to completely abandon those people either. There might be something else, but your progress is not going to be in lockstep with the current generation. Anybody have any feelings towards the Destiny release that's coming up in September, or them stopping progress for people on the older systems?
It seems like there's still a lot of people out there playing Destiny. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not anything new. They come out with a new expansion, and if you don't get the expansion, you get left behind. That's been the name of the game since it launched. So,
well, you're going to get left behind even if you want to buy it. They're not offering it to you.
Right.
They're leaving you behind.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a very checkered past with that game, so
right.
I mean, it's just, yeah, I just don't get it. I don't know. I don't know why at this point they just don't go to a full blown sequel and just completely omit just from now on.
Maybe we'll see that. We'll see that tomorrow.
I mean, so what? They have 3
I have
rates
a feeling
now?
There's going to be something related to that coming out.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to leave the previous generation behind at some point, because you're going to want to start, doing something with the game that, you don't want to be held back because you have to keep in mind, oh, well, we can't be too grandiose in what we do here because somehow we're going to have to translate this to the previous system and make it work, right?
Right.
Now they're not going to have to worry about that, So maybe environments will be larger than they were in the past. Maybe there'll be some new stuff in there that they haven't done in the previous ones because they always had to think about how are we going to scale this to the previous platform.
And quickly, what do people think about the price, $29.99?
I think that's pretty fair. I mean, the fact is you never really know how much content you're going to get, right? So it's really.
I'm sure tomorrow we'll have a better idea, right? And it's got to be on one of the shows.
I'm not giving any more money to that game.
It's really been. Jeremy kind of mentioned there how why not just come out with a full blown sequel? It really has been amazing to me though at how bad that community is clamoring for content and begging for content all the time, and. I mean, for the last year almost, it's been 9 months or more.
Yep.
They have just left. I mean, it'll be a year come September, right? Since the last
they're getting
major expansion. So I mean, you've let those people just hang there with very, very incremental updates, right? You've added some very tiny different things to the game, and every time they do that, everybody jumps back on and is like, oh yeah. And they just go crazy. So I really think Bungie's missed a lot of opportunity there. They could have easily thrown some, very moderate content together and put it out there with $9.99 price tag on it or something here and there, and people would scoop that shit up like crazy for that game.
You can't tell me at this point that this has been part of their 10-year plan to have one raid every year for the next, or whatever the content, and then we're going to take this part away for year 2, but then in year 3 we're going to bring it back with a slight variation of it. I mean. Yeah.
Is everybody getting the raid, or is only PS4 players getting the raid?
Right, yeah, and then everyone's supposed to wait a month, and it's.
Isn't there still some guns that PS4 players got that Xbox owners have never been able to get?
I think there was something in the last
like
update.
The Hawk Moon wasn't the Hawk Moon.
Hold on, let me log in and check the Grimoire cards, and I'll let you know.
Oh, jeez, that freaking bullshit.
Well, we got two stories left here. We'll go rather quickly. The first one, this is disappointing for Jay. Xbox One no longer getting TV DVR functionality.
I was looking forward to that.
So this is something they were promising, a full-featured DVR functionality to Xbox One, but was limited to over-the-air broadcast only, scheduled to arrive this year. Their official statement, after careful consideration, we decided to put development of DVR for over-the-air TV on hold to focus our attention on launching new, higher fan-requested gaming experiences across Xbox One and Windows 10. So,
i.e., we're not going to bother you with the TV shit anymore, and we're just going to focus on games.
Sorry, Jay, but that was a good move.
No, that's what I just said. I agree. I wanted it, but it is a good move because they need to fix a lot of things with the One, and I would have liked to have the DVR, but I'd rather have the.
Now, did you purchase any of the equipment to get it going?
Nope.
No. I know some people did. So. And then lastly, Microsoft responded this week to CNET about some PC gaming flubs.
PC gaming flubs? What are you talking about?
Well, they interviewed, let's see who they interviewed here. What's his name? Albert Pinello, Senior Director of Product Management and Planning for Microsoft. They asked him basically what happened, that Gears came out, and Quantum Break came out, and they just didn't work properly, and then, you canceled Fable Legends entirely. And he says, basically, you're watching the learning process happen in real time. The Windows Store wasn't really built for AAA flagship games. It was built for light mobile apps and productivity. And frankly, Phil has decided that he's going to take the arrows and be the pioneer in launching games across Xbox and Windows PC. So you're going to see the learning process of developing AAA UWP games before we can credibly go out and sell it to third parties. So we've talked about this on the show before, where I think, you're Microsoft. You're not a small developer out here. You're one of the biggest companies in the world, and you're stumbling out of the gate with your games, your own games. It's a bad look. It doesn't instill trust in you. And he's just kind of echoed what we said. They're learning on the fly how to do this, and they're going to take the arrows and don't care.
They just didn't want WB to feel bad about putting a shitty game out for PC.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. You bring that up a lot. I don't see the comparison. I mean,
it's right in the article. Batman Arkham Knight was a big blow for a lot of PC gamers.
Right, but they're not also launching Batman and WB. We're not launching a platform.
No.
They would be launching one game.
They launched it on a platform and failed to make it work on that platform, which
I think
similar
the problem
to what
is that
Microsoft did.
just won't give up and realize that there's already, several very successful, PC gaming platforms as far as buying your games and storing a library of your games, right? And so They think there's money to be made there, and they're not, for some reason, they're not just going to give up on it, which I think is a pretty stupid idea. I mean, you already sell the platform that the game is played on, be happy with that, right? Move on, make games. You're Microsoft, you have game studios, make games. You don't need to, push them directly across your store, right?
Can you imagine if EA or Ubisoft tried doing that? It'd be ridiculous.
Or CD Projekt Red.
In those actually, they've done it.
Those, the Origins and those don't even work that great either. No.
Origins isn't horrible, but man, the Ubisoft is garbage.
At some point I got to imagine that Ubi is going to give up on that thing and just say, we're not going to need you to log in that anymore. So
they will not give up on that. I guarantee that.
Yeah, you think they're going to just drag that?
I think you're going to hear more of it. You're going to hear more of it tomorrow with the with all of them.
Well, here's the difference with those, though. They created those to be that thing. Here we have Microsoft saying, this was not meant to do that, but we're going to keep doing it anyway. And we're going to make all these grandiose promises about how it's going to work, even though when it doesn't work that way, where, hey, yeah, you're going to get this game for free, here's the fine print, you're going to have to wait 2 months to get a code, and why do you even need a code? Because you had to buy it from this tied account. But, yeah, that
it's PR spin to say that people aren't communicating with one another and it came out fucked up. Is basically what it is. Is they're trying, because if you think about it, Microsoft is a software company. I mean, Windows is basically software. All the Word, Excel, all these things. They're basically a software company. So they created software to sell their content, but didn't execute it properly and are having issues with it. So, and they've done this in the past with games for Windows Live, where they tried to integrate Xbox into PC, and they almost got that right and then gave up on it. So are they going to do the same with this one? Kind of like what you're saying? Are they going to say, fuck it, we can't get this one either?
They're also a gaming company, and games are software. So
Correct.
I don't buy that excuse.
Well, no, it's not an excuse. I'm saying that's what's the bad part of it. There's some communication not going on somewhere that's preventing this stuff. I think it's also what made the Xbox One, when it first came out, crappy, was a lack of communication. So I think they're running into the same thing. So
we'll end this with some positivity. Xbox will cure all their PC ails tomorrow at the press conference. I believe that is 9:30 in the Pacific, 9:30 a.m., 12:30 in the Eastern. What is that for you, Nick? 11:30?
11:30, yeah.
Yep. So I'll be watching that tomorrow morning, early afternoon. And then late tomorrow night, I believe 9 p.m. in the Eastern, is the Sony one.
Yes. Yep.
So we'll be watching that as well.
Ubisoft is like mid-afternoon, I think.
Yes, yep. So hopefully Nick and I will reconvene on Tuesday to talk about those, if you're around, Nick.
I'll be around.
I think Jay is working, and Corey and Joe are not around for those. They're doing other stuff. So it'll just be me and you, Nick, and look forward to talking about those.
I see
but
more
I thank
hard
you guys.
nips in our future.
So for people who don't know, people might listen to this whole damn thing and have no idea why we're talking about nips.
Got to be an outtake.
Yeah, wait till next week. All right. That can be the cliffhanger.
That can be the cliffhanger. Okay.
You know what? Hanger?
God, I just looked at the friggin' Skype chat, and all that's in there is fucking huge.
Maybe we should have like an official E3 nip counter hashtag.
Oh, Jesus.
Hashtag E3 nips.
The only reason I noticed this was when I was watching the EA press conference. One of the, I told you, Rooster Teeth? They were commenting as you were watching the EA press conference on YouTube, and one of the girls was on there going, "Man, I think that guy should have worn an undershirt underneath his shirt." So that's what brought it to my attention. Anyways, anybody have any plugs or last words or shout-outs? I guess maybe I'll go first. I want to thank you guys for coming on there. Certainly the stuff that went on this morning in Orlando sucks pretty hard. People out there need to treat each other better, and hopefully we can move forward and just, figuring people want to kill people, just go play some video games and move on. It's getting ridiculous. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to say, thoughts and prayers go out to the families down in Orlando. It's horrible. It's just, 2 gun tragedies this week already. So, also, I do want to say, all listeners of Gamers in Beta, if you notice any nipples during the rest of E3,
oh, fuck me.
We want them reported
Send
immediately.
your tweets to Gamers in Beta, hashtag E3 nips.
Send pictures right to the Twitter account.
Yeah, pictures if you have some pictures, include those.
They're going to vote on the next episode. They're going to vote on best nipples.
New segment.
Yeah. Who's got the best nipples?
Silver dollars or bust. All right, Matt, you're up.
Thanks for having me on. It was very enjoyable. it's always nice being on a podcast and not having to worry about doing anything and not worrying about recording and stuff like that. So it is.
Well, I'm a little worried about you, Matt. Don't forget the sunblock tomorrow. You're up way past your bedtime. You might fall asleep at the pool.
Yeah.
And get a horrible sunburn. So don't forget to put the 50 block on or 100.
I'm sneaking in beers tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be wearing sunblock and laying down in the chair, watching everybody walk by.
Clothing is optional?
Sure. Yeah.
Matt, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you normally take a Quaalude before every podcast you get on?
just the ones he doesn't have to host.
Okay. Right.
No, I think he does it for the ones he hosts, too, doesn't he?
It is way past my bedtime.
Oh, no.
I'm like 2 hours overdue. But no, thanks for having me on. I really enjoy it. And you guys talked a whole lot about stuff that, Xbox and stuff, which I really don't give a shit about. So that was pretty cool.
What's your fuck level on that, Matt?
0.
All right,
absolutely 0. I'll be excited tomorrow at 9 o'clock when the PS4 Sony conference is on.
Matt, what if they put a beer holder on the new Xbox One? Would you get one?
No, because it'll make my beer warm.
Oh. Ooh. Matt, what would you do for a Klondike?
Hi.
Anyways.
Matt, what are you drinking?
Bud Light.
Okay.
Jeremy, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. I am. Thanks for having me. I thought you guys were more desperate to have someone on here. Clearly, because you got the least entertaining guy on my show. So,
well, Supreme Reader wasn't.
Yeah,
available.
I guess. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure watching the Dishonored 2 footage with you tonight, so I could get that firsthand enthusiasm out of you.
Reaction.
So, yeah, it was great. So.
Yes.
All right, I was just taking a beer. Sorry about that. We already got you, Nick. Right? You already through.
Yeah, I did.
All right, Jay.
I think that closes.
Remember
out,
hashtag E3Nips, everyone.
E3
Yes.
I gotta release this on time then, so they'll be aware.
Yeah. So until next time, same beta time, same beta channel, and maybe some guest hosts where Matt Helmer will say. Exactly, because he may not be on.
Yeah. That comes totally off guard.
Yeah, I was supposed to say shut the fuck up or get the fuck up.
I was too busy staring at the dude's nipples in the chat.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I'm hypnotized.
Oh, I thought Matt was going to say something about his butthole being a one-way door.
Oh, it looks like a Cheeto, man.
My butthole?
My nipple.
That's a Dorito. All right, gentlemen. That's disgusting.
You started it.
See you for real this time.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, look,
Good
turkey's
night.
done.
Thanks, Mike.
Nice. On that note, good night.
Oh.
Bye.
So, yeah.